Feedbackthemagazine.com is a black-owned, black-operated news outlet. We don't exhibit the same principles that the mainstream media has. We are our own entity.
Welcome to Feedbackthemagazine.com. I'm your host, Sonny Pinckney, and I have here with me today Oakland native, producer, and songwriter, Q the Scientist. How's everything, Q?
Pretty good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
No problem.
What made me want to get into music was first the love of it. There was a real deep love for it. It's what you heard in the house. With your parents, what they played. So your love before creating it was the love of just hearing it. And then it got to the point where I wanted to DJ. I was DJing 7th, 8th grade, DJing little house parties here and there, and then it went from you wanted to hear it to you wanted to create it. Just the love of the music led to just creating it. And then I had people around me that was creating. I had a cousin that was creating music. He had started a group, and I seen that and just fell in love with the creation of it.
Now, would you say that your cousin at that time was your mentor? I'm assuming he was older than you.
Yeah, he was older than me. I was running back and forth to his house and mimicking what I seen him do, going back to my crib and dealing with the equipment that I had, was trying to emulate that. Of course I didn't have the expensive equipment he did, but it was more so just trying to do as much as I can with what I had.
Now here's my next question. How long have you been in the industry?
I've been making music since I was way young, since, like I said, 9th grade, 8th grade. Professionally, wanting it to be a career, mid to late 2000s. That's when I was okay, I want this to be a career.
Now, for all my listeners and viewers want to know, where did you get the name Q the Scientist?
It's funny because I had friends. I used to, in my studio, I would pretty much buy everything that came out. My studio was looking like a music store at one point. And I had so much equipment, and it was always me hovering over the equipment, trying to figure it out, trying to learn it, like a scientist. And then a friend of mine, he even said that. He was like, man, he said, you don't even read the manual, you just dig right into the equipment and figure it out, like a scientist. And it kind of stuck because I was doing that. I thought to myself, I do that. I want to know the ins and outs of all the equipment that I work with, so the name Scientist stuck with me. First name, nickname being Quan, it just made sense. So it's Q the Scientist.
Okay. Now my next question is, people when they hear music, they hear a hot beat, they say, oh man, that's hot. For those out there that are watching this interview, how difficult or what is the beat making process? How hard is it, for people like Pharrell and Chad of the Neptunes? They make it look easy, but tell the people at home how difficult it is to make a beat.
It's, especially in these days, it's not difficult. It's more so how far can your imagination go? Everything you hear, it came from somebody's mind. It was imagination. So depending on how far you can stretch your imagination, that can be the complexity of the beat, or it can be the ease of the beat. It just depends on a person's imagination. You definitely have to have an imagination to be creative. And that's with anything. That's with any kind of art. That's with paintings. That's with beat making. That's with whatever. Your imagination determines how that end result comes out.
So you're saying that your beats actually comes from your everyday life, good or bad?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And definitely the environment can shape that, depending on what environment you're in. I know for me, it's about environment as well.
Okay. My next question is, what separates your beat making skills from others?
Imagination. Some people, you can listen to the beat and you could tell there was no thought in it. Some people, you can listen to their beat and you're like, I totally know where this guy went with that. I see how broad his or her imagination was. It totally depends on imagination. That's what separates producers from each other is listening to the music and seeing how far one can stretch his imagination. That's the determining factor right there.
Now, what made you, Q the scientist, want to pursue music?
Once again, the love of it, the love I had for it. You appreciate music as a young kid, and I appreciate it even more now that I'm older because you understand it. It just made me want to do it to be creative. I think being creative is like an outlet, and a lot of us need an outlet, and that was my outlet. It was the whole just back on a play of the name science. It was just a science behind it. With me, and that's still today the interest with me is not just making beats, but the whole science behind the gear, the whole science behind the equipment, the whole science of how the studio worked. Everything down to the very sound. Like how did this sound come about?
Other than Jay-Z, because that's everybody's favorite rapper,
Yeah.
who are some of your favorite rapper and R&B singers?
Oh man, my range is real wide. Wow, I mean Jay-Z, of course, like he's up there. He's definitely the pinnacle. Scarface, Ice Cube, a lot of the storytellers, a lot of the rappers who draw you in to listen. There's a story behind it, and as they're rapping, you can imagine what's going on at the same time. So that's more interest in that artist. Biggie Smalls, to me, Biggie Smalls was like the Scarface of the East Coast. Like he gave you those stories. He gave you, interesting topics, things to talk about. Tupac was another, just the energy Tupac gave, just the you could just tell the hunger in his raps, and totally different than a lot of rappers today. I think everything now is in a different. It's on a different space and a different level. Not to take anything.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you feel like they're worrying about the commercial success and the financial and gain rather than the art and the love of it?
Yeah, I think some do, but they're coming from a different time. They're coming from a different time where that's more important now. Where back then it was more about delivering a message. It was more being more creative. I remember a point where you can go to the record store and buy 6 different CDs and they all sounded the same. You were in a mood for what you wanted to listen to. Today you want to hear Wu-Tang. Tomorrow you want to hear Outkast. The next day you're in the car, you're listening to, the Dr. Dre album. So you had a choice. And now I don't think, at least from my point of view, there's no choice. Like the next 6 songs are gonna sound the same, and the listener doesn't get a choice really. They're listening to a different artist, but is it the same topics? Is it the same cadence? Is it the same beat? Same subject matter? So you're not really getting a choice. And maybe to that generation, maybe to this generation now, they feel like, oh, there's plenty of choices. There's 8 different artists and there's plenty of choices between all 8. And to them, that may be true. I know, when I was coming up, you definitely was in the mood for what you wanted to hear. You wasn't forced to hear something else that sounded like what you just heard. So,
Now, as we do this interview in downtown San Francisco, what are your thoughts on rap legend MC Hammer and E40 and how they influenced you in your music career?
Definitely pioneers. Definitely, the Too Shorts, the MC Hammers, the E40s, definitely paved the way for Bay Area artists. It gave you something to look forward to and say, oh, I could probably do that too. Especially with the grind and the hustle E40 has. E40, he's he's the blueprint of like independence, you know, and which was handed down and taught to him, you know, and he took it to a different level, just like, you know, independent artists now are taking it to a different level. Like 40, he showed you how to do it, you know, without a label. You know, he showed you how to do it and let the labels come to you on your own terms. You know, and if they didn't, you know, oh well, because I'm still doing it. You know, so it was that hustle, it was that mentality that that fueled a bunch of Bay Area artists here to go in that direction.
Now, who are some of the artists and people that you produced and wrote for?
Locally, I've done production for Jay Dandridge, which is a local artist here on the come up. Other artists I worked with, I've sent music to other artists on the East Coast. I've sent stuff to Rick Ross and his team. I've sent stuff to DJ Khaled and his team. I've sent stuff to Busta Rhymes. But definitely working with local artists here. You know, which you kind of, that's where you start. You know, if you're, no matter where you're staying at, what city you're in, what state you're in, you're going to start with those local artists first, and then you're owning your craft. You know, you're building your craft and getting things. You're basically, you know, molding yourself into what you want to be. You know, and then you're ready to take on, you know, bigger artists.
Now, you wrote different TV and film scores for different shows. What is the difference for people out there who don't know the difference between writing for film and writing for TV? Can you explain that to the people?
Yeah, with TV and film, it's a visual behind it, so you kind of get a sense of what direction to go in. You know, when you're in the studio just creating music for an artist, really the only thing you have to go on is what kind of artist that person is. You know, I've made stuff where I've had Britney Spears in mind. You know, I've made stuff where I've had, you know, Jay-Z in mind. So it's more of a who's in mind when you're creating. Now when you're doing stuff for TV and film, it's more of a visual because you're looking at scenes and then you're coming up with pieces of music to give that scene. So if this scene is a chase scene, then you know what direction to go musically. You know, you're giving it a fast-paced sound because you're doing it accordingly to the scene. So just depending on the scene, that's the difference. The difference is between doing that and doing music in the studio is that you have something visually to work with.
Now, you've been quoted as going on acting and modeling tours. What kind of roles that you want to portray in future projects?
Locally, I've been in short films. There's an independent short film called Scraper Boys. I played a detective in that. Other films, I played college students. I definitely want to do more acting. It just depends on what the opportunity presents. You know, different roles you would want to take on to get things under your belt. You know, to get things under your belt, you want to take on different roles. You want to do. You know, you want to do gigs that suit you future-wise, like things that you would want to do. You know, I wouldn't mind playing a detective again. I wouldn't mind playing a college student again. You know?
So you want to have an overall range, not just be typecast in one. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely didn't want to be typecast. I've seen people get stuck in that career being typecast, and it may work for some. You know, I judge actors based on their acting range. You know, depending on how you go from A to Z, to me, makes you a great actor.
Okay, and one more question pertaining to your music. What advice can you give young and aspiring artists as far as beat making and producing skills?
Work at it every day. You got to work at it every day. That's the only way you're get familiar with something. Like everything now is software based, so sitting in front of that computer software for 3 weeks straight, you'll at least come out of there with the basics. That's the best advice I can give as far as beat making. Like know know your product. Know what's in front of you. Know how it works. Um, the thing with me though is lately I've bounced around to different softwares. I would be in one software for a few weeks. I work in another software for a few weeks, and that works for me because I know what I'm dealing with when I get in front of it somewhere else. You know, I didn't. That was one of my biggest fears was like going to a studio and not knowing some of the gear in there.
Like Pro Tools and
Yeah.
the M-Box. Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I've dealt with Pro Tools before, so I know about Pro Tools when I go into a studio. I've dealt with this keyboard before, so I know what to do when I get in the studio that has that keyboard. You know, just basically know what you're working with. And know it in and out. Know it in and out. You got guys now that know FL Studio like the back of their hand. Where at one point in the beginning, I couldn't even get into FL Studio because it was just too foreign for me. And those guys are working it like the back of their hand, because they got it and stuck with it. Right? So I advise like up and coming producers, find something you like and then stick with it.
Q the Scientist shared with us his reason for launching his own clothing business called Topper Clothing Brand and its backstory beyond the name.
Well, the meaning of topper is we can't worry about the things we can't control. So that's something I've always lived by. I've learned as I grew up that a lot of stuff that goes on in your life is out of your control. And I never wanted to be one of those people that stressed over something that I couldn't control. I would rather deal with something that I know is in my control than versus something I know that's not. And I know there's a lot of people out here that feel the same way. So I wanted to come up with some kind of brand that represented that. And I was just in the studio one night taking a break, and I've always and that the logo was always like it was already in my head, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And then that's when the concept of like the image to me meant that. The image was like, can't worry about things you can't control, and that's when I said, what, I wanted to brand this and make it into something.
Now, do you have any locations in the Oakland or San Francisco area where people can buy Topper clothing?
No, not in San Francisco. Definitely in Albany. There's a store called Flight School Clothing. There's product there, and of course online, the website topperbrand.com. You can order directly from the website. Ships out quick. So that's how people. That's the main way people can get product.
Now, for the people out there who aren't familiar with Topper clothing, what type of products do you sell?
We have snapback hats. We have hoodies, zip-up hoodies, tees for the ladies, the V-neck tees for ladies, T-shirt for men and ladies. This year, 2019, we're gonna have for the winter, we're gonna have beanies. We're gonna have socks. It's gonna be all kind of, pillows and blankets and things like that. It's gonna be a lot of like novelty stuff for the brand.